for a moment.
Introduce everybody first.
Okay.
Well, hold
Hello,
up, Ruben, hold up.
welcome to Binging Podcast. That was a
So
terrible.
can I ask my question now, or
Okay,
like
it's
can I
up,
not?
No! Jagger,
Jagger,
no,
we
shut-
need to
Jag-
introduce ourselves first.
Oh my god.
We're back
From a long ass hiatus, and we're probably gonna go on another one.
Well, I
Another one.
swear to fucking God, if you keep on talking over anybody else, I will come over there and fuck you in the ass.
Why do you guys keep mentioning me? I didn't say anything.
I'm
All
sorry,
right,
not you,
you
Will.
know what?
I meant Emmanuel.
The topic today is comedy. Yeah, everyone clap.
I thought it was to find a picture for this podcast.
You know, I
didn't
hate you,
it was
Jagger.
comedy.
You're no longer allowed to
We're
talk.
on the topic already.
Alright, so
Alright.
introducing ourselves. I am Chris, the coolest one here.
Bum, 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 bum.
Fucking
The one
loser.
singing is E-Man, because no one likes to call him by his full name.
Yeah, okay.
E-Man, what?
Yeah, his full name Emmanuel's gay.
David.
David.
Alright, who's next?
Alright, the one with the beautiful voice is Ruben.
Yes, I am here. I'm the voice, mind, spirit, and soul of Binging Castle.
Mm-hmm.
I am literally the only reason why anybody is sub to us.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
the
False.
17.
I may not be the coolest one here, but I'm the funniest and literally smartest one out of all of them. So there you
Okay,
go.
well,
Well, I'm
that's
the,
like-
I'm,
I mean, I
I'm the
don't know
most
about that
retarded
second
one, so
I don't know
Alright.
about, yeah, the most retarded one is Jagger.
yes, that's me. I
We're
I
introducing
gladly
Jagger,
own that
yeah.
channel. I'm the most retarded one here, so if anyone
You
tries
see,
to
he
take my
fell off.
channel,
We're gonna get a
I-
bunch of offended people in the chat.
Yeah, the one who threw
It's
Jagger
okay, it's
down
okay.
the cliff is Maniac. It's right there.
Talk,
I agree, Carlos. Yes, we
Here's me.
agree. Carlos, you may
And
speak.
then-
Carlos, speak.
Supreme darkness.
And then for our
Yeah,
first
there he is.
guest, we have special guest.
Will.
No, not
Wait,
Will.
what about me?
Yeah, no, we were skipping you. Anyways.
We have a special
I
guest.
get to leave.
Alright, skipping that one person, we have our special guest.
Special guest.
Fuck you, okay?
It is.
Shut the fuck up, Will. Don't let me put you into the corner.
You can speak now, special guest. You know what? Just stay
Wow.
quiet for a while. We care. We don't fucking care.
We heard a
Okay, technical
It's
difficulties. We lost.
Julie. It's Jewel.
Yes.
Pod. It's Jewel
Yeah.
Pod.
Wait,
No, 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 no,
did
no,
Will
no, no,
kidnap
no,
my
this
special
podcast's
guest?
over. This is over. Right here. We lost our guest. Man.
damn it.
I'm right here.
Alright.
No,
Guys,
no, no.
guys, she
We
crawled into the air
understand.
vents. Crawled into the air vents. So you have to put a light in the air vents.
We gotta put a lighter in the air vent.
Guys, we gotta check the cameras.
Yeah, she crawled out and through the hole in the wall. We have to get her.
God damn it.
What?
Again.
Will, are you okay?
Alright, can we stay on topic? Can we have to get into the topic?
Alright.
Okay, guys. In this
Okay.
new, I'm taking the fucking wheel from now on. In this new podcast that we're having,
Jesus,
Binging
take the-
Podcast, the topic for today that Will has decided, not Will, I'm sorry, Emmanuel has decided on. I'm sorry, I get you two mixed up because you both are really retarded.
Hey, don't diss my boy,
Fuck
Will.
up.
Hey, if you keep
Okay,
making fun of
alright.
retards, we're gonna get
I'm kidding,
bashed by the
Will, I'm kidding.
SJWs.
I'm
You can
kidding,
diss
Will, I
him.
love you.
Everything that's
But anyways,
crap, I
we're
never
talking about
talk.
today, Will, Daddy's talking, Will. Okay, so what we're talking today, the topic is comedy, and basically just comedy how it is in its state now and today.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's not. Yes, that's.
Well,
you
we can't
disagree,
offend
that's the
anyone
fucking
because if we
topic,
offend
right?
anyone, we'll get like blackmailed and like 5,000 times.
That's
Okay,
not
well,
true.
you just offended someone by saying that we're gonna be offending people. Like that's the whole point, Jagger. You just offended
You know what?
Guys,
This topic
guys,
isn't about offending people.
Alright, hold on.
Damn
wait,
it, we
wait,
can't
wait,
be
wait.
offending people this early in the
settle down.
podcast, guys.
Settle down, people. Alright, I got a question for y'all.
Yes.
Alright, to answer the offending thing. Are you guys breathing right now?
How is
Breathing?
this? How can this? What
Breathing?
does this have
Are you-
to do with comedy?
Are you
Did
breathing?
you say
Are you guys
breathing?
breathing
I
right
heard
now?
breathing.
Yes or no?
Are we breeding right
No.
now? Okay.
Are we breeding?
I'm not breathing.
I bet you,
Like,
I bet you Will's
I
whole
don't
fucking,
breathe.
I
I'm
bet you
fucking triggered.
No, listen. Will's whole argument is like, dude, if people are too triggered, then we're just gonna make sex robots. And then if we make
Will, I know you brought this idea before in the other
We're
dimension.
off topic. We're off topic. Let's
Well-
get off this. Get
Okay,
off this
guys,
dick.
guys,
Get off
guys.
this dick.
comedy. comedy.
Chill out, guys. Let's chill out.
Get off
Let's
the
get to
stick.
one person at a time, please. Do I have to bring in the talking stick? Please, for the love of God.
Beat me with this talking stick. Come on, beat me. You won't do it.
That is.
Carlos, you're too tall. I would only reach like your shoulder if I started hitting you with the talking stick.
You could smack his ass. I'm pretty
Exactly.
sure he won't like mind it. So just
We're off
smack him.
topic once again.
Just like my
Okay, so honestly, guys, one at a time. Chris, go ahead and share your opinion of what you think comedy is today.
Comedy sucks.
In what way? What can you elaborate?
SJWs.
What's the SJW?
But
I hate you guys. I hate you guys so much.
literally nowadays, SJWs, they're like ruining comedy. All right, most comedians they won't make any more offensive jokes, even though they're kind of they're quite funny.
May I make
hear
a
about
counterpoint to
Kevin
your
Hart?
point, Chris? May I make a counterpoint to your point, Chris?
Sure.
While I do understand the social justice warrior movement and how that is comedy nowadays and in general, I do have to say that I do not think that that is a extremely big point that has affected comedy today. I feel like that is a point, but I feel like that is not just like that's not the only reason why. I feel like there are other reasons as to why comedy has been toned down a bit recently, and why not just the crowds of the SJWs, but how media and the public in general has been more sensified to most things than it was back then.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right.
But
So,
I can't find any other reason.
basically,
So yeah,
it was
elaborate.
just. I feel like the way that a bunch of fucking kids on a podcast aren't gonna be like, oh, comedy is this or that. I know we sound very like big brain when we say that. But trust me, we're not. We're not big brain. We're little boys and girls just doing a podcast together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a gender fluid. So.
But what was it that you said, Ruben? You said it was because of. I mean, I understand your part, but
It was
you
just
said
media in general. I think there's a lot of things about media and the way that the public perceives things nowadays. Because back then specifically, there was a lot of things going on that had basically desensitized a lot of the public, and it therefore affected the media in a way, like with war and stuff like that, and just police brutalities and general shit like that. There was more dominance of men in media and stuff like that, and just more. How do I say this? Like there was more of a engineering towards like certain groups than there are now. Like there was more of a there were more of a certain group of people than there were of others back then than there were nowadays, like being represented in a bunch of different things. Nowadays we're trying to be more inclusive, and therefore we have to tone down a bit when it comes to comedy. We have to be able to share the same kind of things with back then, it's a show for white people, and that's cool because literally only white people watch TV. But nowadays it's like, oh, we have to include the black people, the Hispanic people, we have to include everybody. And I think that's fine. I think that has made us into the society that we are nowadays. But I feel like it has worn out comedy as well because of the inclusiveness that we have tried to indulge our society into.
Thank you for your point of view. Anyone want to add on to that?
Did you guys hear about Kevin Hart, the comedian? He was supposed to actually host the Oscars, and then the SJWs they went into his Twitter and they found some homophobic jokes back then, and then they actually took him out of the Oscars, and now they have a black African American woman, and then they're like, oh, he's offensive, we have to kill him now.
Speaking of comedians, when it comes into the topic of comedy, I'm sorry if I'm talking on for too long, but
that's okay.
Yeah, do you guys even like there's this comedian that's been on my fucking mind since forever. Because I just don't like him anymore. I used to think he was funny when I was a kid, but now he's just annoying. Do you guys know about Jeff Dunham?
Oh yeah.
Oh, is he the guy that made the kill yourself song?
No, he was the puppet guy. He's the guy that plays with the puppets on stage.
I'm not sure I've heard of him.
Oh, the side
No.
Yeah. What about
Yeah,
him?
I just
so
really-
popular.
I don't know how he got so popular back then, but like I was watching him as a kid, I was like, that's funny. But then I watched one of his normal routines nowadays. I'm like, wow, that's really lame.
Yeah, they're not funny anymore.
Yeah, they're really over exaggerated.
Well,
He'll
Family Guy
he'll
said
bring a
that
black
they're,
puppet and he'll start talking about how white he is. It's like, what? Like I don't stop. You're embarrassing
Stop.
yourself.
But I mean, like,
Stop.
Well, Family Guy said that they're gonna stop making homophobic jokes because they've been
I
offending
remember that.
people, and it's not
It's
not
the same thing with
inclusive
the
to the
Apu thing,
homophobic people.
honestly.
they also
I
took
mean, I
out
feel
that
like-
one Indian dude from The Simpsons.
Apu and
Oh, yeah, they took out
Apu.
Apu.
Yeah.
I feel like it could go both ways, you know. I feel like there could be some jokes that could come off offensive, but to other people they come off hilarious. And I understand that sometimes, but I feel like I don't think we should just stop like completely with jokes that may come off offensive to people just because there's a few people who are like, oh, that's offensive to me, and you shouldn't say it ever again at all.
Chili spaghetti.
I feel you on that because I feel like the line between a joke and something that can be taken as offensive is just getting thinner and thinner as the days go by.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing
Because
is that
honestly,
like with jokes like
there's a whole
if you
subgenre. There's a whole subgenre nowadays of like, oh, comedians that are actually funny, and then they title them as like, oh, they're like alt-right or they're like this or whatever because they say jokes that are like, oh, they make gay jokes and they make black jokes and stuff like that, and like, you know, I'm fine with all that stuff as long as it's not like distasteful or anything like
Like
that. You know?
it's all about the context of the joke.
Yeah.
well,
as
well
long
the
as you're
thing
not
is
saying
that
like,
like
man,
if
fuck
there's a
black
joke,
people.
but if there's a joke that's offensive, like I don't know why they go out of their way to like find that offensive joke. Like I don't understand. Like
And
Kevin
people
Hart,
go out
the
of their way
tweet
to.
was like,
It's literally it's the internet.
And honestly,
people will
like,
find
sometimes-
anything to nitpick at.
like the Kevin
honestly,
Hart
but
thing. That tweet was like a year ago, and they went
really-
all the way
I
to a
feel
year
like
ago to find a tweet. I'm like,
our
really?
jokes are jokes something really we should take like to heart, because honestly, talking about the Kevin Hart thing, like I feel like, I mean, like the jokes are bad and all, but like that was something that like feels, well, I mean, not really that far away. I mean, long ago, if you say it was like 1 year ago, but I feel like, should we really attack that? Like I feel like a lot of stuff is really personal, like when they attack a comedian, when it comes to like when they make like one single joke. I feel like that one joke or the few offensive jokes that they end up making don't really reflect the full person or the comedian, because honestly that's their job.
And sometimes it ruins their
jobs
job.
take
Sometimes
their
it ruins
jobs,
their entire lives
it
because
ruins
it brings
their
them out of a job.
Lives just for like that one joke that they made, and it
Yeah.
doesn't really reflect that who that person really is, because like
Sometimes it
Kevin
brings
Hart
people out of a job.
Do you guys remember
Sometimes it
Roseanne?
puts them out of
guy,
business.
but like,
Remember Roseanne when she made that Muslim joke?
oh yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Like she had a show or whatever, and then she lost it or whatever because of that joke.
Yeah,
that
she lost it because she made a joke about the Muslim or
Like
whatever.
I feel like
forgot
people
what it
can
was.
get so personal when it comes to when someone says an offensive. Like I feel like they're like we get like in trying to like make our community more inclusive. I feel like we're really like you know, outcasting people who make like that one joke in their life and then forever are like seen as that offensive person.
If I can make a point, Will, Emmanuel, I'm sorry.
No.
It's okay.
Of course.
No, it's 'cause
I'm
you and me,
sorry.
we're always like right next. We're always like fucking next to each other. So
I'm sorry.
No, don't.
If I can make a point, I feel like with the way that we're trying to be inclusive, we're also trying to be like not at the same time with the way that we treat people that don't share the same views. Not we, but like the people that want the world to be more inclusive.
Mm-hmm.
Or not just the world, but America in general. They're trying to like, oh, you know, like, what do you say? They're just kind of pushing away the people that are like, oh, I don't believe in what you say. Like they're a lot of people are vilifying them mostly as we were talking about the social
yeah, honestly, I
justice
feel like it's
warriors.
like especially I feel like it's like in our, like you said, in being inclusive. I feel like we've kind of gone like a complete 180. Like I feel like for the most part, we can't really ever be neutral on certain things. Like we are on like certain things, but then if it on really important topics or like that, we always have to be at one of the ends. We always have to go to the extremes. uncertain
I
stuff.
feel like it's hard to find a good comedian because they're so scared to say something offensive. Like they're always like watching their back to make sure no one's offended.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
mean
can see
that
that.
sucks, and at the same time, it like I guess they should.
Not
They,
only, yeah, not only does
it's
it,
their responsibility at the same time. Like people say, like you shouldn't just be out there like being like, I hate black people, but at the same time,
yeah,
like
I feel like it's already enough work bending over backwards to make sure that you make a joke that your whole crowd will make like laugh at. But
so. I feel like
it's
if they
even
mess up
more work
once,
to
I
be
think they
like,
should, like,
oh, yeah. I know that there's some comedians that are like, oh, they don't bring race into it and they're still funny, but like, it's not kind of like,
easy.
yeah, it's not that easy. And the point of a joke is to remind us how silly the world is. It's not like, oh, a joke is to make fun of something, to like poke fun at, and that is true in a sense, but it's also supposed to show us that like, the world isn't all that serious all the time. Like Muslims are funny, black people are funny, like anything can be funny. There's traits and jokes about literally everything in the world. Some of them that are based on truth, and some of them that are based on just like exaggerations that are like funny. And people don't see the fact that comedy's supposed to make you laugh, and you're not supposed to be so serious about everything all the time.
Yeah, and I feel like comedy really is shaped by like the time and age, because like honestly, like nowadays, if like the jokes that people make nowadays wouldn't probably be as funny, or wouldn't be the same jokes that they'd probably be making in a different time, you know?
I get you.
Well, you gotta watch people like Jimmy Kimmel. You know, if you don't make a Donald Trump joke, I don't know what comedy is. You know what I mean?
Like yeah,
Oh yeah.
honestly, like
Also, there.
talking about media, like a lot of stuff is influenced by media, but at the same time, it also goes vice versa. Like I feel like media is more influenced by the public, the public influencing the media that influences the public. It's like an endless cycle of like.
Of what?
Hello.
What?
Of ideas coming on and off. I feel like there was like it's like on W's or the LGBTQ, like those weren't like, well, I mean, I feel like if you it's hard to word it, you know, because right now I'm trying to say something that doesn't come off as something that might be offensive, and I mean I don't think that's a problem. I definitely should try not to say something that's offensive, but I mean it's fucking hard to now word my sentences without trying to offend someone.
Yeah.
Media is definitely influenced a lot by the public, and the public is influenced by the media in the same way. Like I don't think a lot of people would have cared about Donald Trump if he wasn't like fucking called out by the media. And I don't think the media would have called out.
Actually, I think they will. Will Manuel, I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
I'll get it eventually. I feel like nobody would be making fun of Trump if he lost the presidency in general. I feel like nobody would be like, oh.
But I feel like a lot of
Well,
him winning.
he would be irrelevant then.
Winning the president definitely had to do with the fucking press that he got, and I feel a lot of the press. A lot of reason that there was a lot of press on him was because he was controversial, but also because most of the people were focusing on him. So I feel like if the people didn't focus so much about Donald Trump before even like during the elections, then he wouldn't have been focused on by the media. And if he wasn't focused on by the media, then I don't think we would be here where we are right now. Which again, for anyone who might like support Donald Trump,
I really don't care about politics, but to be completely honest, I feel like if Trump had been a governor of a state before, literally nobody would care about him. Yeah, he would be controversial. He'd have his little Mexico thing, but literally all other presidents have been like, he would have his Mexico thing. Let's build the wall. Let's do whatever, and I'm fine with that. But like,
build the only in Georgia.
Yes.
Only
Yeah, but I feel like if he had been, I feel like if he had been a politician before all of that, if he wasn't just some guy with a lot of money, I feel like people would have respected him more often.
Yeah. I mean,
the thing is that
I can understand why people might feel like he comes off. Okay, well, I mean, let's try to wrap this up though, because I feel like we're going into politics, and that's not the topic of today.
Politics ain't the best.
It's been derailed for a while.
Okay. So,
comedy.
All right, Will, you may speak.
Yeah. Well.
So, like you said, like if he was governor, like no one would really care. But what about like if like Arnold Schwarzenegger tried to run for president? Everyone would like be fucking jumping on that because he was an
he ran for governor.
Yeah.
ran for governor.
But there
what I'm
are
saying.
celebrities that do run for governor, but nobody
that's
cares
true.
because it's a governor. So it's like whatever.
And then another thing, let's like switch the topic of like politics. I want to talk about like YouTube, like comedy, like funny moments and stuff like that. I feel like it's been kind of getting dull.
You might as well just change the actual thing to
No, well, you
fucking
know what? I
politics.
actually,
You might as well
I
Yeah,
can-
definitely, especially
continue.
now, comedy on the internet is even worse.
Emmanuel, can I?
True.
I was wondering. I know a way to link this to the topic that is at hand.
Comedy?
The comedy in the real world versus comedy on YouTube. I feel like,
Or on the internet in general, honestly.
yeah. Julie, stop breathing into your fucking mic.
So, Julie,
Uh,
you know, Julie, for being our guest, you know, you really kind of don't exist right now.
It's not
Julie,
insane,
Julie,
dude.
you know what?
Guest character.
Before I blab on for the 6th time on this podcast, Julie,
Yeah,
what's your input?
What's my input?
Yes.
She's trying to breathe on the mic, so you know she's getting triggered right now.
Let her do what she wants.
Let me
Goddamn.
think. Y'all can talk, but let me think.
Okay.
Okay,
Let's
we'll get back to you, Julie. Then.
Guys, let's be completely silent. Let's get completely silent until Julie talks.
Bro,
let's see.
It'll take a whole hour.
Also, I feel like being a comedian nowadays feels like such a hard job. Like, what's the name of the guy? What's the name of the guy? Which I sound like a dick saying this right now. He died a few years ago, and he used to be in a bunch of movies. He was in
Robin
Blob,
Williams?
I think it was. Yeah, there you go.
Robin Williams?
George Lopez.
Robin Williams started off as a comedian, but
George Lopez didn't fucking die.
Robin Williams. Yeah. But like, I feel like it's like attack. I feel like we think of comedians as just people who like get on stage and make people laugh, but you know they're people too, you know, and we don't know what really is going on in their lives, and like that's especially in a person like Robin Williams, who everyone thought like, man, that guy's like the happiest guy in the world, and what ended up happening.
Well, you see, the thing with Robin Williams was kind of a special case. It happens with a few people, but the way that it wasn't his comedy that completely inflicted him with his depression. It was just kind of the way that he was in general. He never opened up to people about the way that he was. He was always putting on this shtick and this face of his comedy, and that was what the people saw. But what happened on the inside was just complete like sadness with him. And the thing with Robin Williams wasn't that people don't like me, I'm not funny anymore, that's why I'm depressed. It was literally just he had depression. That was his big thing, and he literally told nobody about it. Like he used his comedy to cover it up. And that's really, if anybody watching this podcast has ever thought about like, you know, killing themselves or anything like that, then I got a piece of advice for you. Fucking do. No, I'm kidding.
Whoa.
Call the suicide hotline.
You just killed now.
Call the suicide hotline. I'm kidding. You see, that was funny.
You killed too many, Ruben. We're getting this podcast banned.
You see that says 2 people watching now? Like it went from one.
They died.
That second
You
person.
just killed someone.
Guys, please let me talk before they actually kill themselves. Please.
I feel like they're already dead.
Please let me talk before they actually kill themselves. Don't actually do that, please. For the love of God. Your life means something in this world, even if it doesn't mean it. Even if you don't see it, you know, you're gonna look back years ahead in your life and be like, man, I really don't regret not killing myself. Because every life has something to hold within it, even if it's the smallest, most minuscule thing. It'll still mean a lot to somebody, at least in that world. There's always going to be somebody
like the
that loves
government,
you, man.
you know.
Yeah.
So
the
what I want to say is,
if you're ever depressed, just ask your CIA agent in your phone to send booty pics.
all I want to say is, watch, in the fucking Wall Street Journal's gonna post local YouTube comedian Ruben says
From Vincent Castle
people should kill themselves.
Yeah.
And, like, they take the clip and they cut off the part where he says they shouldn't kill themselves. They just leave the part where it's like, if you're killing yourself.
Oh my god, it's like that
fucking do
PewDiePie nigger clip. Like when everybody was under fire for Guys, I'm saying it in context of the clip.
Sure.
I understand now.
ban him.
Ruben, it's called the power of editing, Ruben. It's called taking
It's a quote. It's a quote. Guys, I'm saying a quote. I do not condone the use of the N-word. I'm just saying it in the
What's
quote
the
of what he
N-word?
said in that clip. Nickel. Nickel is the N-word.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, you see, that's another thing, man. Like, stop.
Somebody on the internet.
Another thing is that like people are really picky when it comes to words that they use. Also,
Yeah. I hate it.
people are really picky when it comes to the words that they use in like stand up and stuff like that. They're like, oh, you can't say this, this, or that. Like, there's new rules that were never there in the beginning.
Speaking of comedy, there is this comedian who is like getting pissed that people said N-word. He said, just say the word. Everyone knows what you're talking about. Just say it. Like, it doesn't become less offensive more offensive if you say it, because people already know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
Like,
I get that.
Yeah.
Like, if you use it unironically, then it's offensive. But if you use it in something funny, like nothing like
If you say it ironically to be like, oh man, like you're talking to your wife, and it's like, man, what an N-word. Like you say it as a
Yeah, it's
joke,
like,
and
just
it's just
like imagine
yeah,
Nichols walking up to you. Just good old Lord Freeze walking up to you and be like, you filthy Saiyan Nichols. Like
he goes, hello, monkeys, and
Yeah, honestly, I'm actually gonna sue Dragon Ball Toei for having that one.
Oh, I saw a meme of that where it was like the clip where he goes, hello, monkeys. It's like when the English first landed in Africa. Hello, monkey.
Yeah, like honestly, dude.
Honestly, I love how completely high key racist Frieza is to everybody.
Exactly. That's like the best.
Honestly, I think it's a part of his
I like how Goku I like how Goku brought him back and it's just letting him go fucking like rampage on utter like like
okay.
He's like, yeah, he can go.
Okay, so can you really be a racist if you're racist to everyone except for yourself?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be racist.
That's pretty much.
Look, you're not a racist if you're racist to all races, even your own. If you're racist to all races, then that just means you hate everybody, and that means that you're not racist.
Are you a robber if you don't rob your own house?
If you rob in your own house.
Honestly, like Jagger,
I think you're still a robber regardless.
Jagger just shut down fucking.
Look, you know what? You know what? You're not racist if you hate everybody equally. That's the rule.
That's what I was saying. I was like, can you really?
You're not racist if you hate everybody equally,
including yourself.
What about inanimate objects? If you hate inanimate objects, like that damn stop sign.
That's,
you're just a car.
I hate those filthy lampposts. Those lampposts make me sick.
Fucking toxic, dude.
What a nice combo we have.
I feel like comedy on the internet. Comedy on the internet is a lot worse.
Yeah, let me say something about it.
I feel like it's a lot more open, but it's also.
Let's let me just say something.
It's way more open on the internet.
Julie, say something.
Okay, comedy on the internet. All right,
we're still with this.
This shit, like with the comment on the internet, like when you're looking at the screen and seeing like a funny picture of a funny bro moment, it's not like you're not actually looking at somebody. It's like all that shit is just anonymous shit, and it's different from fucking somebody on the fucking podium talking about some shit, because like they're actually there and they're actually speaking, and fucking. Meanwhile, on the other hand, fucking comment on the internet is like dumb shit. You know what I'm saying?
Memes.
Okay, I have a question. I have a question. How much weed have you smoked before you said your answer?
Yeah, she sounds like.
Hey, wait a minute. I have a follow-up question. I have a follow-up question. How much smoke have you weed? How much smoke have you weed? How much weed have you smoked? And can I have some? Because.
Listen, I'll have whatever you're having. Come on.
About 1 ounce.
I'll get the no gift juice.
1 ounce. That's some good shit. I'll take about 10 ounces of that.
Yes.
10 ounces of beer, more like it. Hey-o, because I'm an alcoholic.
Man,
I wish I could drink.
Ruben, I want to have a drink off with you.
Carlos, you will lose.
No, trust me. Trust me.
You will lose, Carlos.
Trust me.
I can assure
you. Let's have a drink off.
So about
Dude,
That
about the
sounds like a
comedy
great
thing.
idea on this
Let's have a
podcast
drink
right
off.
now. Let's have a drink off.
Three 18-year-olds found dead in a bar after being
Hey,
As a-
Emmanuel, you're not 18.
never said I never
Three
said I
people.
was
There's
having the
only
drink
three
off. I
There's
never
only
said
three
I
people
was having
here.
the drink off, Chris.
Oh.
Everyone else is
Alright,
younger.
you know what? You know what, guys?
Wait, I'm 19
I'm
though.
just gonna say it, man. I'm
You're
just
close
gonna
enough,
say
Will.
it, man. Guys, I'm just gonna say it.
Chris.
Can I talk about my story?
I'm just gonna
Yeah.
say it, guys. I'm
This
just gonna
lunch.
say it. I'm
Can I
just
talk
gonna
about
say
my
it.
story this lunch? Can we completely
I'm just
derail
gonna-
this conversation and not talk about
I'm
comedy
just gonna
anymore?
say it.
Yeah, let's just
Just
do
be
it.
saying niggers.
All right, no, stop.
Ban!
Okay, guys.
Do you think if
so
they
I went
called
to
dark
Buffalo.
Samus
All right,
Black
wait.
Samus, people would get offended?
Yeah.
Probably. Probably.
Zero skill spammers.
Okay, guys. So this lunchtime, like at 11, I went to Buffalo Wild Wings and I was like, hey,
Oh, I'm scared.
you
Oh
know
my
what?
God, no, you're not
I'm
telling
real.
that story.
I'm real.
He's telling the
Please,
story.
please, for the love of God, can I
Nothing
please
to
tell
the-
this? I
okay,
need to
okay.
tell. The world
He's
needs to
telling
know
the
this.
story. He's telling the
The
story.
world needs to know this.
I give consent.
So, I just went to Buffalo Wild Wings. I was like, hey, I'm hungry. It's wing time. Wings time. So we get the wings combo thing or whatever with the boneless and the
Wing
traditional.
time.
Wing time. And I was like, a few days ago I went to Ale House and I tried their spiciest sauce and it literally did nothing to me. I wonder if Buffalo Wild Wings can do like worse. Of course it can do worse, but I wonder how bad it is. So I got the spiciest thing on the menu, the blazing sauce.
Oh god.
And it comes to my table. My lip. I'm licking my lips. I'm smacking my lips together. I'm ready for this sauce. The wings come to the table, but of course we have to go through the appetizer, like the chips or whatever, with the chili con carne, sauce or whatever the
I
hell with the
understand
beans
Spanish.
in it and shit. So I get through that, and then we get to the wings and the sauce. So the sauce comes in, and I get my first boneless wing, and I'm like, all right, it's
Ew, you eat
time for-
boneless wings? Oh god.
Boneless wings are
What's wrong with
Yeah,
boneless
boneless
wings?
wings are great.
Boneless.
Yo, if you eat wings, with,
Jagger, I
like,
swear to God, you're gonna get kicked off of this fucking podcast if you keep on talking shit about
if you
boneless
eat
wings.
wings with bones on them, dude, you're actually like an ape.
boneless
Hey,
wings
You're
are
like
so
an
fancy.
So guys, I had boneless wings, and I was like, all right, you know what? I'm ready for the sauce. I dip like half of the fucking like nugget in the fucking hot sauce. I take a whole ass bite in it, and I start. I was like, oh, okay, all right, good first bite, good first bite. I start chewing at it. I swallow, and I talk to my mom. And as soon as I start talking out, like I can see my breath. I can see my fucking breath from how hot that sauce was. And I'm like, oh my fucking god, oh my tongue. Wait a minute. I regret this immediately. So guess what I do? I dip the other half in the sauce and I eat it.
Yes.
So I'm like,
Just Ruben's,
all right.
Wait.
And let
Ruben,
me
wait.
tell you, if I could, the most accurate description I could say of eating anything with that sauce, of tasting that sauce, was giving the devil a blowjob, and if he shot fire instead of cum,
You
like,
gave
straight into your mouth.
the devil a blowjock.
The devil?
Blowjob.
What?
Give him a blowjob.
I gave the devil a blowjob, and he came in my mouth, and the cum was fire, and then that's exactly what the sauce tasted like.
That's offensive.
And it
to
was
satanic
absolutely
people.
it was like it wasn't like those like really bad hot sauces that you can taste the pieces of like shit in it. Like you were like, oh, okay, all right, it's like really hot sauce. It's got a good consistency to it. It's not like shitty fucking churrasco shit going on. So it was fine, but it was really, really fucking hot. And like I actually cried while eating shit with the sauce because tears were being emitted from my body instead of sweat because I wasn't sweating at all. I was just straight up crying while eating sauce. And I was like, I was able to maintain myself after 2 bottles of milk of getting through the entire thing of sauce with the boneless wings. And I was like, all right, I'm good now. I got home and I'm like, oh, I feel it going right through me. So I go to the bathroom. You guys can leave the podcast for anybody who doesn't like poo poo jokes, poo poo toilet humor.
Poo-poo jokes.
I'm triggered.
We
All
made
right,
it back to the comedy.
Wait, Carlos
So-
is playing. Carlos is playing Splatoon 2.
Why are you on your
without
Switch,
consent.
Jagger?
Dude,
Why are you on
Jagger,
your
why the
Switch?
fuck are you on your Switch?
You see,
Carlos,
there's a
okay, Carlos,
podcast.
where are you
You're
on
not
your
supposed to be
Switch?
doing your
Wait,
shit.
no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter why I'm on the Switch. Why is Jagger on the
You're all
Holy shit.
banned. You're all
Okay,
banned.
guys. So back to my shitting adventure because that shit was absolutely awful. I felt it coming through me. I only had like a little bit of the squirts. It wasn't too bad. I was only on there for about like 20, 30 minutes. So I'm like, all right, that wasn't that bad. It was a little bad, but it wasn't like I've had worse, and it just by eating normal food. So like, all right, it was whatever. It did smell really fucking bad though. It smelled like actual raw sewage. It was awful. So and recently, when I got into this call now because we were gonna start the podcast, we were just waiting for Chris. It took fucking forever. But that's besides the point. I was like, all right, guys, I feel something going through my digestive tract, and now like I feel like taking the biggest shit right now. So just a torrential downpour out of my asshole, and it was absolutely awful. And I felt so empty when I got out of that when I got off the toilet, and like I felt like a husk of a man. It just straight up like I ruined my fucking asshole. Like my asshole was on fire. I couldn't. I The only thing I felt was the tingling. It wasn't even tingling. It's like if I ate the boneless wings through my asshole.
Oh my god.
It was absolutely awful.
Just straight
You know,
up.
I like the conversation.
So,
So yeah, that was my
just wanna say-
adventure,
I just
and
wanna say-
I'll keep you guys updated if anything happens, like me
Like,
dying.
I feel like I can never relate to like people say who have like really bad diarrhea after they eat like a certain type of food. Like I've eaten spicy stuff. Like I'm assuming not as spicy as what you ate today. If it really did like fucking literally like burn a hole through the Earth's crust, but like. But I mean, like I've eaten. I always hear people like, "Oh man, after eating this or this, I literally went home and I was stuck on the toilet for like century, like
3 years.
it was like
Like
taking,
3 years.
it was like taking a dump in the hyperbolic time chamber, and I'm like, you know, that's never happened to me. Like I've eaten the same exact food, and like I've never really had to like go to the shitter. Like I've gotten rumblies, but I mean, usually when like my fucking stomach hurts, I just like stay on the bed because I don't like taking a dump. But like I've never had.
Aren't you lactose intolerant?
I've never had. Well, yes, I learned that.
The hard way.
I learned that I learned that a month ago, and I'm still eating lactose, and nothing has happened. So I think the scientists are just retarded. But
okay.
eventually I'll die.
Well, watch
Eventually I'll
like
die.
Emin Wall have like terminal cancer now, and he's calling the scientists.
I'm probably gonna die. I slowly feel dying for eating lactose, but at least I'm not fucking having explosive diarrhea because of it. So I mean, like that's all I could say. That's all I could. That's my 2 cents. Like I've never had.
Maybe you just break out into rashes or something. I
Chris,
don't
why
know.
do you have a PNG of bleach?
I don't even know what I have in here.
Oh, just a Goku. Oh,
Hey, it's me, Goku.
that's my penis.
Hey guys,
oh,
me,
Hey
Goku.
guys, it's me, Goku. And today's episode, I'm basically gonna be like, I don't know.
King
So
Kai,
back to
it's
comedy.
me, Goku.
So
Oh,
like,
have you guys searched up gender on Google before? Like the term?
Gender?
No.
I searched that right
Yeah,
now.
they changed the definition on Google.
What do you
Just
mean
like
they
side by
changed the
side.
definition? How do you
Look
change a
at the
definition?
now.
Let me
Look
read
at the
it.
definition.
Gender is either of the two sexes, male and female, especially when considered with reference to social and cultural differences rather than biological ones. The term is also used more broadly to denote a range of identities that do not correspond to established ideas of male and female.
Man,
oh,
Google.
they did update that.
Google's fucking
Google savage.
Google's dead.
Google's dead.
Google's
I think
canceled.
so.
Google
is
will
dead.
no longer be known as Google. It will be known as Goggly.
Goggle. Remember, kids, goggles.
Goggle.
I'm really like.
There was this one.
So
There was
are we
this one
gonna?
movie.
Yeah.
There was this one movie where these dudes in the 80s, like, they smoked this government-assigned weed. It was like some experimental scientific weed.
Oh yeah, dude, that was called the Scooby Doo movie.
Julie, I know you're a guest.
Dude, that movie had like the best model
Yes.
rigging for Scooby. It's perfect CGI.
And then they
Julie-
fucking what?
I know you're a guest, but do all that you bring to our topics is just guys who smoke weed?
That's a pretty good statement.
Hold
Come
up.
on, I'd say so.
She sounds like she's on weed all the time, so I mean, I really don't see
people that
it.
smoke weed?
Hold up. Okay.
Look, dude,
Hold
I'll
up.
have you know my mother
Hold
smokes
up.
weed, alright?
They woke up in 20
In pain.
and
I think I know what you're talking about.
the black dude, he said he was on Google on the little kids.
Why does he have to be black?
It was a black little boy.
It's just a joke. It's just a joke.
And he said, you put the thing on the goggles.
Did you put that thing on the Google?
That joke was delivered so badly. I actually feel like you're out of weed.
The kid's fucking uncle was on fucking Skype, and he said, "It's on Planet Skype and the fucking."
I think she's actually smoking.
He said that.
You know what, Julie? Fucking tell me where you live. I'll share a beer with you right now.
Share more than just beer.
Someone tell me, like, I thought we had to be sober for this. I didn't know we could, like, be high.
No, I want to know is, I thought
This is beautiful.
I want to
I thought
fucking
this
smoke
movie was
a
in the
movie with you right
80s,
now
dude.
because I don't know what you're on.
I thought you said this movie was in the 80s. How did they have Skype?
Nah, they was smoking weed, and then they fucking passed the fuck out in their van, right? And then they woke up 30 years later.
What?
What the fuck? What movie did you watch, dude?
Is this hot tub time machine?
Oh, I forgot. Let's see. Hold on.
Wait. So
Hot
this
tub
movie
time
came
machine.
out in the 80s or like when?
No,
did
it came out like last year or some shit. I forgot.
Hot tub time machine.
That movie
You know
was
what?
not- that's an
That
old
sounds
movie.
like it, actually.
Hold up.
That's an old movie.
Yeah, but it didn't come out in fucking 2018.
Yeah, it's
Oh, I think I know the
2005.
movie that you're talking about, Julie. Is it called Two Dudes Smoke Weed and Then Go Back in Time? Is that the name of the fucking movie?
Title, exactly right.
Good title.
Right on the point, right on the nose with that one. Honestly, a great executive
did it
decision.
have the two guys and like did they smoke weed and was it like assigned by the government and did they like go on that
I know
time?
what movie is. I know what
Okay,
movie.
I'm looking at the movie.
Yeah,
I'm
it's called. It's called Ripped.
No.
What?
You're thinking of the wrong movie. It's Christopher Robin. That's the one.
Guys, you forgot it's a Netflix original. It's called Netflix Death Note. That's what it was.
It's called Gabriel Iglesias. Sorry for what I said when I was hungry.
It's called my Stardew series.
So,
Gabriel Iglesias is actually.
so are
If
we
you guys want to talk about actually good comedians to suggest to the audience, Gabriel Iglesias is actually a funny one.
Funny, dude. Yeah, he's really funny.
Yeah, he's actually pretty funny.
He's a funny guy.
I mean, I'm pretty funny.
Wait,
Right?
Wait, that sounds like a Hispanic.
Yeah, he
What?
is.
He's
He's
really good
Mexican.
at making
He is.
noises too. He's really good at making noises. Like those noises he makes are.
He's
I
good
don't know, I know
at
girls.
being fat.
I know
He's
girls
good at
make
being
pretty good
Hispanic.
noises.
Hey, you know,
He's
I think
also good at
Oni makes the best noises.
Oh, Chris.
No, have you seen this video on Flash Kids? They were doing auditions or something, and Oni has to send his clips to voice a character for their next animation. And it's amazing.
I mean, it's only to be fair.
Look, I'm gonna get some audio right here.
My favorite voice actor, Shane.
Fuck. I love Oni. He's the funniest little man in
Freddy
the world.
Freaker's dancing in the living room.
Freddy Freaker's dancing in the living room. Holy
Lois,
fuck.
you're expecting to know
shit.
Freddy Freaker like
No.
it's his third cousin.
Anything but him.
I remember. It's like,
Freak.
And then Stewie goes,
Now the freaker is coming to your door.
now the Freddy Freaker's coming to your door.
Now Lois, I know you're Freddy Freaker.
This video is sponsored by.
Freddy Freaker sponsored by Freddy Freaker.
I have some audio from the video.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Freddy Freaker's knocking on your door.
Chris, can you play some crap out of music?
6, 7, 8.
Freddy Freaker.
Johnny Bravo, is that you?
Call now. 1-900-4903. What's happening with Jam and Boston Drive?
From the north to LA, call now.
1-900-4903. $2 a call.
$2 a call.
Put up my coat.
$2 on my cock.
Anyway.
No.
Yeah, but Odie is amazing. Hey, welcome, Silent Thrills. That's a new guy in the comments.
Oh,
Hey, Silent Drill, I have a question for you.
Why do we keep talking about Freddy Freaker today?
What is this?
No, guys, we're doing a podcast. Please, be professional.
Yeah, come on, guys.
Somebody mute him. Somebody mute him.
Is this
He
the
can't hear
bot?
us. He got his AirPods in.
So mute him.
I
So mute him.
thought it was a music video playing for a second.
Hey,
Okay,
everyone,
fellas,
shut up.
Fellas.
Go ask him the question. He's waiting.
I'm gonna ask you a question. What was his name?
Silent Thrills.
Yeah, okay.
Silent Thrills. How many times have you pulled back your foreskin today?
Oh my god.
Best question.
I'm gonna make a point.
It's like I'm a girl.
Pull back your foreskin today, friend. I know you're probably a man. I bet 75% of people.
None.
You assumed his gender.
Ruben, he said none.
You know me, fellas. I'm assuming genders left and right because I'm a rebel.
He's a rebel.
Ruben,
Oh,
he's
Yowzer.
you gonna answer? What's the follow-up?
Yeah, how many
He's
times have you
very
pulled back your
concerned.
foreskin today?
He said zero. He said zero. He said
Oh, wow.
Wow.
You're lame. Never mind.
You're not cool at all.
yes, you watch here. What are you doing?
Who's making those noises?
Probably fucking Julie again. Probably because she's too
King
hot.
Julian.
what?
King Julian.
I put the
She's
foreskin
smoking
down.
weed. She's making weird noises. Like I thought we were supposed to be sober when we did these podcasts.
Yeah, I
didn't
thought
know
we were
supposed to be high.
this was supposed to be.
You're fired.
Bruh.
I pulled the foreskin back to do the
I
monster
pulled my
mash.
foreskin back. Dude, the mash. It was a really bad crash. I pulled my foreskin back.
It's the
Wait, you guys
One day on the Halloween, a man come in and he funny scream. We both came in across the room. Dracula fell into riddles.
Into my name.
Spooky splash. He did the spooky splash.
Are you guys singing what
Wow,
I think you
We're
guys
all
are singing?
circumcised. I'm confused.
It was a big bet. I'm not circumcised.
Yes, I know
I'm
what you guys are
uncircumcised.
singing. Oh my god.
You're
I
not
pulled my
You're not
circumcised.
circumcised?
foreskin
Get
back.
the fuck out of here.
Julie's uncircumcised.
I
Uncircumcised.
wonder why.
I'm
wonder
not.
Can you
Wait,
circumcise?
is Julie, are you circumcised?
No.
Oh.
Bro,
Damn,
you know what
alright.
real circumcision is?
Dude,
They literally cut your whole ass clitoris off.
What?
Dude, you know what?
That's
Julie,
What?
we're both uncircumcised. We're the
Strip it
only
off.
two uncircumcised niggas in this chat. Let's fucking like shame on these people for having their
Yes.
mothers take their foreskin away.
Right. Me on my way
You know what?
to gate
Emmanuel, I know your
But,
father got his big old chompers and chomped your foreskin off, but like, come on, man. Why are you rubbing it in my face?
I'm sorry, Ruben. I mean, is that why you haven't come to my house since? Because I flapped it around your face too much.
Honestly,
What?
honestly, like I felt so ashamed. I was sucking up everything with my foreskin, and you were telling me to stop. But you were just like, you're like, Ruben, stop that. That is really disrespectful. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't help it. I'm uncircumcised. And you're over here with your circumcised penis, like, yeah, well, I don't have foreskin, you fucking freak.
Hey.
So like, I'm just really upset that you said that to me.
Silence.
I'm
I'm sorry,
just like
Ruben.
an apology.
Listen, is there anything I could do to make it up for you?
You can suck me off.
Okay, like today.
Oh, perfect.
Right now,
Perfect.
No, but Emmanuel doesn't like
are you cheating on me?
uncircumcised. He wants it to be circumcised.
I'm sorry,
Look,
Will.
look,
This
look,
is just
look,
for an
look.
apology.
This is a question from the audience, alright? You ever just get your foreskin stolen by a Jewish doctor?
oh yeah, it happened.
All the time. It's happened like multiple
Sadly,
times.
I am not Jewish, but I have had a situation like that happen to me once,
Happened a
where
lot.
an old Jewish man at the retirement home was like, "Oh, man, give me your foreskin," and I said no. So yeah.
Have you ever heard of history? I mean, it's in the history books. Hitler was
History? Yeah, I know history's in the history
It was in the
books.
history books. Hitler had his foreskin taken by Jews. That's why he wanted all of them dead.
Makes sense to
I
me.
thought Hitler was Christian.
This is canon. This is the canon timeline.
Hey, I don't know if you all noticed, but I changed the profile pic to Binging Castle.
Yeah, we saw.
I didn't even watch the stream.
I didn't even notice it because I don't care. Anyways.
You think I care about the viewers? I care about the money.
Okay, guys. Next question. What's our favorite memory as children? Definitely right now because I'm still 2.
Coming out of my mother's womb. That was a nice warm moment for me.
Pretty sure he's kind of serious. You know, we should actually answer this seriously.
No, you guys remembered when you were delivered from your dad's sperm
and just like hit the fucking egg?
Okay, no, if I had to be serious, my favorite childhood memory was fucking Bakugan, right? And now it's been ruined, because they fucking.
I like to start just a diss on the fucking new series now.
Look, guys, I'm just gonna say my favorite childhood memory for real though is definitely has to be hanging out with my cousins when I was younger. Because they were like.
Those are the best memories.
Because my cousins were like brothers for me. They were like the only brothers I had because my older sisters are like. It is a bit something personal about me. My 2 older sisters, I have 2 of them, and they were like 20 something. They were like 18, 19 when I was a little boy. So.
Oh shit, my dick.
So like basically when I was growing up, my cousins were like, oh, you know, they're like the closest thing to brothers I had at the moment. And because I was basically with them every day, and it was very nice. It was it was nice moments that I had with them a lot of the time because they were just kind of like, you know, they were like family. And now I'm really sad that they're like.
Unfortunately,
my older cousin has grown and gone to college, and I don't hang out with them anymore, and that's kind of stinks.
My older cousin is in District 1, and I'm in District 12, so I had to fight him in the Hunger Games, and unfortunately. They did not survive.
You have to fight the Hunger Games.
Can I be completely honest with you though? I read some of the Hunger Game books and they're so boring.
They're not that
they're ass.
See, I read all of them, and I mean, like,
they're not that good.
They're alright.
I didn't like the last one.
It's much better than I
wrote. I didn't like any of them. All of them were boring.
The only good one I actually enjoyed was the second one.
Literally, they'll skim over like.
Honestly, I feel like if the movies hadn't come out for like any of the books, I feel like I wouldn't have read the books if it weren't for the movies.
So
I literally read the books before the movies. I didn't even know there was a movie.
So for my senior year of high school, I had to read like this book called I, Robot, and like it was so boring for me. I was like, I would literally read anything else other than the Hunger Games, or I literally read anything else. So he was like, all right, our next project's gonna be fun. It's gonna be Hunger Games. And I was like, oh, kill me, please. It was even more boring than I, Robot. And it was just about robots having emotions. Like, what the fuck?
I am a robot.
I don't know. I mean, like, I feel like
feelings. You know the feeling of happiness.
Oh.
Robots having emotions. I feel like emotions in general, and especially
I can only feel the pain of suffering and agony. Please,
Carlos, we don't need your depression. That's only emo, Carlos.
If it's a book about robots having emotions, that could be interesting. But I feel like that's kind of hard to pull off, seeing as how emotions are kind of complex.
Fellas,
and then you go watch.
Granted, huh?
Fellas, I'm gonna tell
you could just download emotions. You know the mod where you download
emotions.
Download emotions, guys.
Wait, guys. Not emotions. Emmanuel, did you not unzip the AP?
I agree, Silence. This is we basically change topics every second. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
Because keeping on one topic is stupid and it doesn't make anything interesting.
Oh God.
That's what I thought, but freaking Chris and Will are like, guys, we should have one topic for a stream.
And I never said that. I said we should have a list of topics.
Emmanuel, this is your fault for not stretching. First of all, this is your fault for not being. This is your fault for being circumcised and not being able to suck up all of them. Second of all, this is your fault because you didn't make a fucking list for the podcast.
Well, can we just talk about the times when we were traveling through the vagina in order to be born?
Solid.
Man, I'm gonna tell you right now, I got that number one victory royale real fucking quick.
Boo's body and just went on a Bowser's Night Story adventure to rescue the Dragon Balls. Come on.
Wow.
Fertilize the egg. I won. I got the epic victory royale.
Well, the thing is that I got lost. Like, I was stuck to the wall, so then I had to find my path,
you see, Jagger, you hit the wall.
We had played D&D, but it wasn't a very long session of it.
Yeah, I mean,
guess.
because like you guys are always rushing me. Okay.
Hey, no.
Emmanuel, I'm sorry
Yes,
that
you
I've been
are.
putting pressure on you this whole
Okay, I mean,
podcast.
yes,
It's just
I
that you
definitely.
were, Emmanuel, you must understand my
Yes,
reasoning
foreskin
because you
voice.
were the one that
Silas,
decided
yeah.
to organize this all. And I want to let you know that you really fucked up today. I'm not mad. I'm just
What
disappointed.
do you mean, dude? Listen. Okay, fine.
I'm
Listen.
fucking
Next
pissed.
time
I'm
I'll
about to
have a
beat
list.
Manuel's ass.
I'll have a list. All right. But talking about one topic, we actually were coherent. All right.
So how about since we all went through?
We went off topic. We went off topic because you guys wanted to go off topic. Next time I'll have a list, all right? But like maybe try to
Okay, well,
topic. Like if I have a list, you probably will still want to go off topic because I'm okay with that because honestly I can't force you to talk about one topic, but still, if I have a list, I
okay,
feel
well
like
since
I'm still gonna go off topic.
Hey,
well since
Julie.
we all went through our mom's vagina, can we talk about the journey that we did?
No, we're not talking about that. Julie.
You mean the journey to the west?
I think.
I mean, I don't know, man.
Jules.
Mine was kind of.
What?
Okay, wait.
Oh, okay, I thought you were dead.
We've
No,
gone
I'm
on
here,
for
I'm
almost an
here.
hour. I think we should leave I think we should leave all the conversations we have for our next podcast. I'll make a new list. All right, we've basically reached the 1 hour mark.
What? No, I didn't.
Yeah, we did.
What?
We did? Already for like an hour? Damn. Okay.
God damn.
It's almost an hour.
All right. For a closing note, last closing note, about comedy, which was the first topic at hand.
What's the
And also
point of the
about the
going
good
back to
pals,
comedy? It's
and
a
also
train
about the
wreck.
good pals, guys. I'm just gonna go back for an end note.
Thank
For
you
an
for
end
the
note,
Thank you, Silence.
today's comedy is all right. It is trying to be. It is still in its infancy stage, and I feel like if we give it some time, we might be able to realize the other side of things and actually give it a chance for once. And that's just gonna be my end note for the whole comedy thing.
So,
Also,
Where
we
are
got,
we
we got a new
spot- are-
subscriber. We got a new subscriber. So everyone, give a hand, and clap.
What's the guy's name? What's the guy's name?
Silent Drills.
Nice.
Oh shit! All right, I'll suck your dick.
And
okay.
No. I swear I'm good looking. Promise. I promise.
Promise. He promises.
Where are
He's not telling the truth.
Wow.
Where are
who
we
said
sponsored
that?
by Garfield
Who
Rush?
said
I
that?
wonder who said that.
Does
I
it
wonder who said
work?
that.
Hey.
Was that you? Will? Excuse me? Will?
What did I say?
Bruh.
Will,
You want
I'm
the
looking
fucking
at
belt,
Will.
What?
Will,
I didn't say anything.
who? Will.
Will, were you talking shit?
Wait, Emmanuel, you're gay? Emmanuel, you're fucking gay,
No,
dude?
you can say that.
Gay?
You're gay?
Almost gay?
No, shut up, please. Turn it off.
You know, thanks for tuning
Thank
in.
you
all
for
right?
everybody who's tuning
Thanks
in. We'll
for
have another
dealing with our
podcast
ramblings for
another
about an
time,
hour.
maybe. Anyways, see you later. Bye.
See
Oh, I was
ya.
gonna say
Don't
something
wanna
about comedy.
be
Damn
ya.
Nigger
See you,
time.
bye. Anyways, so now that we're done with that, you guys.